Some carnivores are built to dominate, while others are just built to lose. In this video, you'll live as 5 predators that spend more time starving and running than actually winning. Starting with the first one, the puma. You're born in a den, which is just basically a smelly hole in the ground. The good news is your mom is there and she's super protective. She keeps predators away and goes out hunting to feed you and your siblings. The bad news? You and your siblings are basically useless blobs at this point, so she's doing all the work while you just lie there whining for milk. Your siblings aren't much better, except they're bigger than you, which means they keep stepping on your face while fighting over milk. Mom is out hunting for food most of the time, leaving you all to fend for yourselves in the cave. If she doesn't come back, well, you'll just sit there and wait for something to eat you. It's not a great system, but it's what you've got. One day, your mom decides it's time for you to leave the den. You're not ready, but she doesn't care. She drags you and your siblings out into the jungle, where everything either moves too fast to catch or wants to eat you. This is survival training, apparently. Lesson 1. Stay quiet. You fail immediately by stepping on a twig so loud it might as well have been a firecracker. The rabbit she was stalking bolts, and she gives you a look that could kill. You've never been more disappointed in yourself. Eventually, she catches something, a small bird, and lets you and your siblings share the leftovers. It's your first taste of meat, and you're not sure whether to be excited or horrified. Either way, you eat it, because you don't have a choice. After a few weeks of being hauled around like luggage, Mom decides it's time for you to contribute to society, or at least stop being useless. Welcome to Hunting 101. Today's lesson, crouching and stalking. You're bad at both. The rules seem simple. Stay low, move slow, and don't be seen. You fail at all 3. Your crouch is clumsy, your steps are noisy, and you couldn't hide if your life depended on it. Every time you move, you step on a twig or kick a rock. Mom tries to show you how to do it, gliding through the bushes like a ghost. You copy her and crash into a tree. Your first target is a rabbit. It's sitting still, nibbling grass, and doesn't notice you. You try to sneak up on it, but halfway there you sneeze. The rabbit bolts, and you're left sitting in a dirt. Mom stares at you for a long time before walking away. She doesn't say anything, obviously, but the look says enough. Over the next few weeks, you keep trying. You mess up a lot. You trip over your own feet. You chase things that are too fast or too big. Sometimes you give up and sit in the grass, hoping a snack falls from the sky. It never does. But you don't stop trying. Slowly, you start to improve. You catch a mouse once, and another time you surprise a lizard. They're small wins, but they matter. You're still bad at hunting, but you're not hopeless anymore. Mom keeps helping you, but it's clear that she's slowly losing patience. You're following Mom through the jungle, minding your own business, when she stops so suddenly you nearly walk into her. She sniffs the air and gives you a shove towards some bushes. You don't ask questions, you just go. Then you see them. Wolves. A whole pack of them. They're big, they're mean-looking, and they're way too close. You freeze, but Mom does not. She steps forward, growling and twitching her tail. The wolves don't care. They keep coming. One of them moves closer, and Mom pounces. She bites him on the neck. The wolf yelps and runs back to its friends. They hesitate because clearly none of them want to be next. After what feels like forever, they finally run off, throwing a few dirty looks over their shoulders. Mom watches them go, then turns back like nothing happened. You're still shaking so hard you might vibrate out of the bushes. That night, you curl up next to her, trying not to think about how close you came to being someone's snack. At about 1 year old, you figured out how to stay quiet, how to move without making too much noise, and how to keep from tripping over yourself. You're not good at it, but you're not as bad as before. Mom's still hunting, but she's giving you more responsibility. Lately, she's been taking you on bigger hunts. She spots a deer and signals for you to help. You crouch low and creep forward, trying to get into position. But when the moment comes, you freeze. The deer takes off, and Mom has to chase it down herself. When she comes back, she doesn't look happy. This keeps happening. You try to help, but you're too slow or too loud. Most of the time, Mom ends up doing the hard work while you watch. It's not a great look, but at least you're trying. Then, one day, everything clicks. Mom corners a rabbit and leaves it to you. You take your shot, and this time you don't mess up. It's small, sure, but it's a real catch. You eat it quickly, more relieved than proud. After that first success, things start to change. Mom doesn't wait around as much anymore. She expects you to handle more on your own. Sometimes she even pretends not to see a squirrel or rabbit nearby, clearly giving you the chance to prove yourself. You mess up plenty of those chances, but when you do get it right, there's no applause or congratulations. She just keeps moving, like it's business as usual. That's how you know you're doing what you're supposed to. The animals you catch are still small, but they're yours. Each one feels a little easier, a little less like luck and more like skill. You're not exactly confident yet, but for the first time, you're not completely unsure of yourself either. Mom still steps in for the bigger hunts, the ones you're nowhere near ready for, but it's clear her role is changing. She's less teacher, more observer, making sure you're on the right track before she moves on. At around 20 months, your mom decides that you're ready to live on your own. Your first order of business is leaving her territory. Pumas don't do roommates, and sticking around would likely get you chased off. So you head out, wandering aimlessly while trying not to starve. It's not exactly a heroic start. Finding food isn't easy. You're used to your mom doing the hard part, but now it's all on you. Deer are too fast, rabbits are too smart, and birds are basically just mocking you at this point. You spend most of your time chasing things you'll never catch, though occasionally you get lucky with something small. A mouse here, a squirrel there. It's not glamorous, but it's food. Then there's the matter of finding a territory. Male pumas need a lot of space, like 100 to 150 square miles of space. That's bigger than some cities, and every square inch is already claimed by a bigger, scarier puma. If you accidentally wander into someone else's turf, you're greeted with growls, scratches, and the universal message of, get lost. After weeks of dodging fights and eating whatever you can catch, you stumble across a patch of land that looks promising. Plenty of trees for cover, a few watering holes, and no immediate signs of competition. You mark it as your own, scratches on trees, a little scent here and there, and hope no one stronger comes along to disagree. It's not much, but it's yours. A scrappy little slice of wilderness where you can hunt, nap, and occasionally fall out of trees without anyone watching. Life alone is tough, but hey, at least no one's stepping on your face for milk anymore. With your new territory claimed, life settles into a routine, if you can call constantly avoiding death a routine. You'd like to think you're getting the hang of it, but the truth is, you're still learning. Hunting is your main focus. Deer are your best bet. They're big enough to feed you for days if you can catch one. But they're also annoyingly fast and always seem to know when you're nearby. You've got to rely on stealth, creeping low to the ground, moving with the wind, and praying that your stomach doesn't growl at the worst moment. When you do catch a deer, it's worth the effort. You drag it to a quiet spot, eat as much as you can, and stash the rest. Of course, scavengers like coyotes and vultures always show up, hoping to steal a free meal. You chase them off when you can, but let's be honest, you're not always in the mood to fight a gang of angry birds over leftovers. Patrolling your territory is another big job. You walk the boundaries every day, checking for signs of intruders. If you find another puma's scent, you have to decide. Is it worth a fight, or should you back off and pretend you didn't notice? Most of the time you go with the second option. It's not cowardice, it's called survival. Then there's the occasional visitor. A female might wander into your territory, checking out the local real estate. If she likes what she sees, you might spend a few days together. No commitment, no strings attached. Then she moves on, and you go back to your usual schedule of hunting, eating, and avoiding eye contact with anything bigger than you. By the time you hit your prime, your life revolves around one thing, keeping what's yours. Forget just hunting for food. Every inch of your territory is a prize that other pumas want. It's less about survival now, and more about strategy. You're playing chess with predators who don't know what chess is, and the stakes are your life. Every few weeks, you find signs that someone's testing your boundaries. Claw marks on a tree, a fresh scent trail, or, worst of all, a poop pile. These are not friendly messages. They're challenges, and you can't ignore them. If you fight, it's a brutal, no-holds-barred match. Claws, teeth, growls. It's messy, painful, and never as quick as you'd like. Even if you win, you don't walk away unscathed. That's the price of keeping your turf. Then there's the constant balancing act of prey. If you hunt too much in one area, the deer move on, and you're left with nothing but rabbits and regret. So, you roam your range carefully, taking just enough to keep yourself fed without scaring off the buffet. It's a juggling act, and there's no one to teach you how to do it right. Skip forward a bit, and it's a regular day. You've patrolled your territory, chased off a nosy coyote, and scored yourself a decent meal. As the sun dips below the horizon, you're prowling along the edge of your range, nose to the ground, when you spot something unusual. A rabbit. It's hopping on a strange, flat surface that looks nothing like the rest of your territory. The ground smells weird, like hot rocks, and it gleams faintly in the fading light. Around it are bright, glowing lines that flicker and move. The rabbit doesn't seem to care. It's just sitting there, chewing lazily, completely unaware that you're watching. You freeze, crouch low, and lock your eyes on the target. This one won't get away. The flat ground doesn't bother you. It might even make things easier. You inch closer, your paws silent against the surface, muscles coiled like springs. Then, the moment comes. You leap. Mid-air, something changes. A deep, rumbling noise fills the air and a pair of blinding lights rush toward you. You don't know what it is, but it's fast. Faster than anything you've ever seen. There's no time to think. No time to adjust. And just like that, it's over. This is how 28% of pumas meet their end. Not from hunger, not from predators, but from cars. That rabbit, it hops away, oblivious to the chaos it left behind. The lights fade, the night goes quiet, and your territory, for the first time, doesn't belong to anyone. That was the puma. Next is a hunter made for snow but barely hanging on in it. The Arctic wolf. You're born in a hole in the snow. It's cramped, dark, and cold. Your mom is curled around you and your siblings, but she's exhausted. She's been running on empty stomach for weeks, hunting, digging this den, and keeping herself alive long enough to get you here. The wind howls outside, and the snow presses in on all sides, but you don't notice yet. And that's because you're totally blind. Your only instinct is to crawl closer to your mom and fight for the best spot. You're already competing with your siblings, even though none of you can stand yet. You're small and at the bottom of the Arctic food chain, and you have no idea that it's only going to get worse from here. Your so-called family looks like this. There's one alpha pair, your mom and your dad. and they run the whole show. Your dad is the dominant male, and he's in charge of protecting the pack's territory, leading the hunts, and making sure no one steps out of line. Your mom is the lead female. She raises the pups and holds just as much authority as your dad when it comes to keeping the pack together. Then there are the subordinates, 3 other wolves. They're adults, but they're not in charge. They're the hunters and babysitters, doing whatever your parents tell them to do. They don't eat until the alphas have had their fill, and they stay in the pack because it's safer than being out in the Arctic alone. The pack has a strict pecking order, and you're at the very bottom of it. No one's going to listen to you, and no one's going to take care of you except your mom, and even that's conditional. If the pack has to choose between you and survival, you're not going to like their decision. This is the Arctic. There's no room for sympathy here. For now, though, the pack tolerates your existence. Your dad patrols the territory, marking the borders and making sure no rival wolves or predators get too close. Your mom stays close to the den, keeping you and your siblings alive. The other wolves bring back food, but it's barely enough to go around. The pack eats first, and whatever scraps are left might make it to your mom, if she's lucky. And if she's lucky, you'll get what's left of what's left. The pack isn't a family in the human sense. It's a survival unit. Everyone has a role, and yours, right now, is to stay alive without slowing them down. No one is going to save you if you fall behind. The sooner you figure that out, the better. After a couple of weeks, your eyes open. The world is bright and cold, and the Arctic wind doesn't care that you're still figuring out how to exist. You crawl out of the den for the first time and immediately regret it. The snow is everywhere, under your paws, in your fur, and in your face. You don't understand why your siblings are so excited to explore. They're bigger than you, stronger than you, and better at shoving you aside. The adults don't pay attention to you. They're too busy doing important things like scanning the horizon for threats or returning from hunts with scraps of meat. You're still entirely dependent on your mom, but she's got 4 mouths to feed and barely enough food to do it. The pack eats first, and the scraps are picked clean before you even get a sniff. You try to chew on frozen bones, but it's more effort than it's worth. When the pack moves, you follow, even though you're not built for it yet. Your legs are weak, your paws sink into the snow, and you fall behind constantly. Your mom stops to nudge you forward, but it's not kindness, it's practicality. A dead pup is a waste, and the pack can't afford to waste anything. Every time she pushes you forward, you feel smaller and weaker. You start to understand that no one is going to carry you. Eventually, the pack decides it's time for you to learn the basics of survival. They take you and your siblings out to watch the adults hunt. You don't get an explanation. You're just expected to watch and figure it out. The first target is a hare. The adults spread out, silent and deliberate, while you and your siblings stay behind. You're supposed to stay quiet, but you're hungry, impatient, and bad at following orders. The hare hears you before anyone moves, and it bolts. Your dad glares at you, and your mom doesn't even look in your direction. The pack regroups and moves on, leaving you to stumble after them. The next few hunts are no better. You try to copy the adults, crouching low and stalking through the snow, but you're too loud and too clumsy. Prey escapes every time, and the pack doesn't bother hiding their frustration. You're eating less and less now, and the gap between you and your siblings is starting to show. They're growing faster, getting stronger, and learning how to contribute, while you're still trailing behind. Winter comes, and it's worse than you imagined. The cold is constant, and the snow never seems to stop falling. Food is scarcer than ever, and the pack is constantly on the move, searching for anything to eat. You're forced to follow, even when your legs are numb and your stomach feels like it's caving in on itself. The adults manage to bring down a caribou one day, but by the time you get there, it's nothing but bones. You gnaw on what's left, trying to convince yourself you're full. The pack doesn't slow down. You keep moving, even though every step feels like it might be your last. The nights are the worst. The pack huddles together for warmth, and you're shoved to the outside. The wind cuts through your fur, and you shiver until morning. You start to wonder if you'll ever feel warm again. By the time spring returns, you've survived your first year, but barely. You're bigger now, but so is everyone else, and you're still at the bottom of the hierarchy. The new pups arrive, and they take your place in the pack. Your mom is too busy with them to care about you anymore. The adults push you aside when food is scarce, and you're left with nothing most days. Your dad, the alpha, starts to see you as a threat. You're not much of one, but he doesn't take chances. Every time you try to eat, he shoves you back. Every time you get too close to the new pups, he growls. It's not subtle. You're not wanted here. One day, the pack moves without you. You watch them disappear into the distance and realize they're not coming back. You're on your own now. At first, being on your own feels liberating. There's no more growling in your direction, no more shoving for scraps. You wander the tundra, following your instincts, surviving on whatever you can catch or scavenge. It's hard, but you're built for this. Hares are your usual target. They're small and fast, but you're faster now. Days turn into weeks, and you find your rhythm. You move constantly, hunting, resting, and keeping your distance from larger predators. Every now and then, you cross into the territory of another pack. Sometimes you catch their scent and steer clear. Other times, you come face to face with them. When that happens, you lower your head and back away. A fight isn't worth it. Not yet. You keep moving, covering miles of frozen ground, your nose always to the wind. You're not looking for anything in particular, but the Arctic has a way of surprising you. One day, while traveling across an open plain, you catch a scent on the wind. It's not food, it's not a rival pack, it's another wolf, a lone female. You follow the trail cautiously, your ears up, your steps quiet. Eventually, you see her in the distance. She's like you, thin, cautious, and alone. You approach slowly, careful not to seem like a threat. She doesn't run, and that's a good sign. The two of you circle each other, sniffing, sizing each other up. Neither of you has much to offer, just survival skills and the stubbornness that's kept you alive this long. It's not a romantic story, but out here that doesn't matter. You're both alone, and the Arctic is a lot easier to face with someone by your side. You start traveling together. At first, it's awkward. Two wolves used to being on their own, but over time you learn how to work as a team. Hunting becomes easier with the two of you. You take down larger prey, sharing the kills and eating more than you've eaten in months. You take turns watching for predators while the other sleeps. Slowly, you stop feeling like a lone wolf. As the seasons pass, the two of you settle into a routine. You wander the tundra together, hunting, resting, and marking a small territory of your own. Then one spring, everything changes. Your mate gives birth to 3 pups in a den she dug out in the snow while you were out hunting. The responsibility feels heavy, but it also feels right. You teach the pups how to walk, how to play, and eventually how to hunt. You lead them across the tundra, showing them where to find food and how to survive. It's hard work, but it's worth it. Your little pack is growing stronger every day. Life as the leader of your pack is relentless. Every day is a struggle to find food, protect your territory, and keep your pups alive. You hunt tirelessly, leading the charge against caribou, chasing down hares, and scavenging whatever you can to feed your family. Your mate helps, and the pups are growing stronger, but the weight of responsibility falls on you. You push yourself harder than ever because you have no choice. One day, while hunting, things go wrong. You're chasing a caribou, pushing through deep snow, when it kicks out and catches your leg with its hoof. The pain shoots through you, sharp and sudden, but you finish the hunt anyway. The pack eats, and for a moment, the injury doesn't seem like much. Just a scratch, you think. It's nothing compared to the challenges you've faced before. But days later, the pain hasn't gone away. In fact, it's worse. Your leg swells, and every step feels like fire. You start limping, falling behind your pack more often. The pups, who once looked up to you, don't understand why you're slower now. You still try to hunt, but the infection spreads. It's in your bloodstream now, and you can feel it sapping your strength. You stop eating, you stop moving. You lie down in the snow, far from the pack. They don't wait for you. They can't afford to. You don't blame them. You know how this works. You've seen it before. This is just the way of things in the Arctic. The infection takes hold, and the cold sinks into your bones. Your breaths become slower, shallower, until they stop altogether. There's no ceremony. You die the same way you lived, alone in the vast, unrelenting wilderness. The Arctic doesn't notice. The Arctic doesn't care. It just keeps going, and so will your pack. Hunting, surviving, and carrying on without you. The cycle continues. The Arctic always wins. That was the Arctic wolf. Now meet a cat that climbs to survive, hides to eat, and still loses everything. The leopard. You are born as an African leopard, hidden inside a cave deep in the savannah. Next to you lies your sibling, born just before you. Neither of you can move much, so you just stay there pressed against the ground. The cave is small, a simple hole in the side of a mountain, but it is safe for now. Your mother is here, exhausted but alert. She hasn't eaten in days. Pregnancy took everything from her, and giving birth drained whatever was left. She needs to hunt. She stands over you and your sibling for a moment, then turns and disappears out of the den, leaving you both alone for the first time. Outside, your father is patrolling. He has fought hard for this land. He killed for it, bled for it, and he will do it again if he has to. This is his territory, and nothing steps onto it without consequences. Then, something moves in the distance. It's a lion. Your father freezes, his eyes locked onto the intruder. The lion sees him too, but does not stop. Your father moves first, charging without hesitation. He knows he cannot win, but running is not an option. The lion is too strong. It pins him down, its massive jaws closing around his throat. And within seconds, it's over for him. Inside the den, you and your sibling are unaware of what just happened. You don't know that your father is gone, that the land you were just born into no longer belongs to your family. You just lay there waiting for your mother to return. Before she reaches the cave, she stops. Her body goes still. Her eyes locked onto the scene in front of her, her mate motionless in the dirt, and the lion standing over him, its eyes already scanning the area. She rushes inside the cave and sees you and your sibling. She only has seconds to decide. She grabs your sibling first, pulling them into her jaws. Then she reaches for you but stops. She can't carry both. If she tries, she won't be fast enough. The lion is already moving. She has no choice. She drops your sibling, grabs you instead, and runs. She does not look back because she knows the truth. The den is no longer safe, and the land is no longer hers. Your father is gone, but you are alive, for now. A few weeks in, and you've gotten used to your new den. Your legs are still weak, and your eyes are barely open. The outside world is not for you yet. Your mother is gone most of the time. She needs to hunt because without food, neither of you will survive. She returns just long enough to feed you, and then she disappears again. Then one day, she leaves as usual. You press against the back wall of the den and wait. That's when you notice something moving at the entrance. A long shape slides inside. It moves slowly, its body pressing low against the ground. It's a snake. It slithers across the dirt, moving closer towards you with every second. It is not here by mistake. It knows what is inside. You want to run, but you can't even walk yet. Your legs are useless. You press against the wall as far back as you can go, but the den is small. The snake keeps coming. It's close enough now that you can see the slow flick of its tongue, tasting the air. Then the entrance darkens. Your mother is back. She jumps forward, snapping her jaws around the snake's body before it can react. She bites down, her teeth cutting deep. The snake twists, but she holds on. After a while, the snake stops moving. She drags the body outside and disappears again. She doesn't even check on you. You survived, and that is enough. But now you understand. Even inside the den, you are never truly safe. You are a few months old now. Your legs are stronger. Your eyes are sharper. You don't just crawl anymore, you can actually run. But you have never hunted. Not yet, at least. Your mother leads you outside, but this time something is different. She moves low through the tall grass, silent and focused. She is not hunting alone. This time, you're involved. Ahead, you spot a young warthog that digs at the ground, completely unaware that you and your mom are here. It's small but also fast. If it sees you, it will run, and you don't want that to happen. Your mother signals. It's time. You don't hesitate. You run forward with her. The warthog lifts its head, but it's already too late. Your mother is already there with her teeth closing around its throat. You jump onto its back, sinking your claws into its rough skin. It moves violently, trying to shake you off. It kicks back, and one of those kicks barely misses your face. You hold on tighter, digging your claws in deeper. The warthog flips over, but it doesn't stop struggling. Then your mother's grip tightens, and just like that, the fight is over. Its body goes limp. Your mother does not hesitate. She drags it down, pinning it beneath her paws. You step back, breathing hard and watching as she starts eating. But then, she does something new. She lets you eat. You move forward cautiously. You have never tasted fresh meat before. You bite down, tearing a piece away. The warmth, the texture, it's nothing like the milk she once gave you. It's so much better. This is your reward. You are around 12 months old now. Your instincts are better and you no longer need your mother to survive. She knows this, and that's why for the past few weeks, she has been pushing you away. At first, it wasn't obvious. She still shared her kills, but she made you wait longer before letting you eat. She stopped grooming you. She started hunting alone more often and leaving you behind. Then one day when you tried to follow her, she turned and snapped at you. Not as a warning, but as a message. It was time to leave. She didn't chase you off, but she didn't have to. She made her kills further away, forcing you to hunt for yourself. The first time you tried, you failed. You got too close and moved too fast, causing your prey to escape before you even had the chance to strike. The second time you did better. You stalked a small antelope. You moved slower this time, keeping your body low and waiting for the right moment. When you finally pounced, you landed on its back with claws digging in and teeth closing around its throat. From that point on, you didn't need her anymore. After she noticed, she stopped waiting for you. You were not her cub anymore. You were competition. That's why you left. The land stretched endlessly ahead of you. Tall grasslands, dry riverbeds, jagged cliffs. You avoided the scent of other leopards trying to stay out of their territory. You moved through open land where no one would chase you off. 50 kilometers, then 100. The land changed, but you kept going. Then finally, after a long trip, you found it. A stretch of land with no markings and no scent. It wasn't perfect, but it was yours. For the first time, you were alone and you were ready. Skip forward a bit, and you've been alone for months now. Hunting is no longer a struggle. You don't just chase prey, you stalk it and break it down piece by piece until it makes a mistake. You have killed before, but never something this big, an impala. It took patience. You stayed low in the grass, waiting and watching. The herd moved, and you moved with it. You kept your eyes locked on a single target, the one that lagged behind. It wasn't weak, it was just careless, but that was all you needed. You lunged forward, exploding from the grass. The impala turned too late. You were already there. It kicked, trying to escape, but your claws found their mark digging into its flesh. You held firm, tightening your grip, waiting as the kicks grew weaker until finally it went still beneath you. You should have dragged it somewhere safer. You should have climbed it into the trees, but you didn't. You were too hungry. You crouched over the carcass, breathing hard, feeling the warmth of the fresh kill beneath your paws. You didn't waste time. Your teeth sank into the flesh, tearing away the first bite. It was the best meal you've had in days. But before you could swallow, something moved in the distance. It was hyenas. There were 2 at first, then 3, then 4, and finally 5. They spread out, circling around you, knowing they didn't need to rush. They were not here to fight you. They were here to take what was yours. One took a step closer, then another, waiting for you to make the decision they knew was coming. You could fight one or maybe even 2, but not all of them. You knew what happened to leopards that refused to run, so you made your choice. You stepped back once, twice, then turned and ran for your life. You climbed onto the nearest tree, launching yourself higher until you were out of reach. You didn't look down, but you heard them, the sickening crunch of bone between powerful jaws. Your kill was gone. You were fast enough to catch it, tough enough to kill it, but you were not strong enough to keep it. You have survived alone for close to a year. This land is yours now. Your scent marks the trees, your tracks cover the dirt, and every creature that walks this territory knows to stay out of your way. But today, something is different. A scent lingers in the air. It's strong and unfamiliar. It does not belong to prey. It belongs to another leopard. Then, you see him. It's a male, bigger than you, moving through your land like it belongs to him. If he is here, that means only one thing. He is here to fight. You have no choice. If you run, you lose everything. The two of you lock eyes. Your tails flick, your muscles tense. Neither of you moves at first. Both of you wait, searching for an opening. Then you strike. You launch forward, swiping at his face. He counters immediately. His claws scrape down your side, tearing into flesh. The fight is brutal. The air fills with the scent of blood. Then, a mistake happens. He stumbles back by accident, and that's all you need. You drive him into the dirt, pinning him down. He struggles beneath you, but you hold firm. You don't need to kill him. You just need him to understand. He hesitates for a second. Then he makes his choice. He decides to run. You don't chase, because you don't have to. This is your land, and now he knows it too. You're 4.5 years old, and you've ruled this land for 2 years now. You have fought for it, bled for it, and no leopard dares to challenge you anymore. But now, a different instinct pulls at you. You need to find a mate, but it doesn't take long to find one. One crosses into your territory. She is cautious, watching you from a distance. She doesn't trust you, not yet at least. When you move closer, she lunges, but you don't back down. She swipes at your face, but you dodge. She strikes again, but you are faster. You step forward, pushing her back, forcing her to see the truth. You are stronger, so she has no chance. She has no other choice but to accept. A while later, she gives birth to cubs. They are small, blind, and helpless, just like you once were, but you do not stay with them. You are not their caretaker. That is her role. Your role is something else. You patrol your land, marking the borders, chasing off intruders. You are no longer just a predator. You are a protector. They are the future. They are your future, and you will fight for them. A few weeks after the cubs have been born, you find that something is wrong when scanning your territory. A scent reaches you before you see it. It's strong and unmistakable. You freeze. It is familiar, yet distant, buried in memories you never knew you had. It's a lion. You don't know it, but this is exactly how your father died. At first, you do what every leopard does when facing a lion. You run. Your muscles burn as you push forward, bounding toward the trees, trying to reach the safety of the branches. But this lion is fast. Too fast. You feel the weight before you even hear it coming. It slams into you, knocking you to the ground. Pain explodes through your body. You kick and twist, struggling to break free. If it pins you, you are dead. Then you see an opening. You don't hesitate. You twist, violently slipping out from beneath its grip, scrambling to your feet and running as fast as your body allows. You don't stop. Not until the lion is gone. But you are not the same anymore. Your body is broken. Deep wounds tear across your side. Your breathing is ragged and your legs barely hold you up. You keep moving until you reach a tree where you finally collapse. Then, the scent of death fills the air. It's not the lion, it's hyenas. They do not need to chase you this time. You have no strength to move, no strength to fight. One steps closer, then another. You don't even struggle. You know this is your last moment. And just like your father before you, you do not survive. But your cubs will, and one day, they will walk this land just as you did. That was the leopard. Up next, we have an animal that's dominated by the females, the male hyena. You slide out of your mother's narrow tube and land hard on the ground. She turns and licks you clean. Your eyes are open, and all of your teeth are already intact since birth. Then comes the second pup, your brother. As soon as he raises his head, you lunge. You snap your jaw and lock your teeth on his neck. Your mother doesn't interfere, she just watches. He laughs as you bite deeper into his body. You twist and feel his strength fade slowly, until he doesn't move again. When it's over, your mother leans down and nudges you like nothing happened. You position yourself against her belly and feed. Then she picks you up and carries you to a den. She leaves at night to hunt and returns by the morning with blood on her neck and fresh milk in her stomach. You wait at the entrance, observing everything that moves. One day, another curious female approaches the den. She steps forward, but your mother doesn't let her near. She makes a loud, high-pitched sound from her throat and lunges at the stranger, chasing her off before she even reaches the opening. But eventually, your time alone ends. Your mom picks you up by the scruff and carries you out. Past the rocks, across the grass, into a larger den that's filled with movement. Dozens of cubs scramble over one another, all under the age of 1. Mom puts you down on the ground, and instantly one approaches. He playfully rears up to test you, not trying to harm you. You meet him head-on and he stumbles backwards as your skulls collide. This is where you'll stay from now on. This is where you'll learn who eats first, who to avoid, and how much you can take. Then, 5 weeks later, you smell a faint scent of meat before you can even see it. A haunch of something fresh, dragged in by a high-ranking female. You sprint over, but when you beg, she snaps at your face. So you step back with your heart pounding. That's how you learn. Here, only your mother will feed you. You fight for scraps, test your jaw on bones, swipe food from smaller pups. Your coat lightens as spots start spreading across your back. By 8 months, you no longer wait at the den. You follow your mother out instead. Into the plains, beneath the moon, toward the scent of blood and bone. Skip forward a bit, and you're 9 months old when your mother stops hunting alone. She stands in front of you, just waiting. So you follow her without thinking. You walk for hours under the sun, past dry thorn trees and cracked riverbeds. Then, she suddenly stops and lowers her body. You drop beside her and do the same. She waits, and so do you. You spot a motion. Something small darts ahead. It's a young reedbuck. She takes off and you follow, but it's too fast. You can't catch it. You're not even close. You flank left, stumbling through the grass. The buck turns to avoid you and slips. That's all it takes. The older females close in. One bites the leg while the other takes the throat, and it dies in seconds. You stay back because your mother eats first, then the others. And when they're done, you get what's left. A chunk of spine, some gristle, and a strip of skin with hair still on it. You don't complain, you eat it all. Then, a week later, she takes you out to hunt again. Just the two of you. You stay low behind her as she moves through the grass. Up ahead, a small warthog grazes alone. It doesn't see her. She crouches, then breaks into a run. You chase after her with your legs struggling to keep up. The warthog hears too late. It bolts and zigzags, but your mother cuts it off. She lunges and clamps down behind its shoulder. It squeals and kicks, but she doesn't let go. You reach them just as the warthog goes still. She steps aside and you move in and tear at the soft belly, biting through skin for the first time. It's warm and heavy, nothing like milk. This was actually the peak of your life. From now on, it's going to get much worse. You're 2 years old when everything changes. Your mother stops waiting for you. She doesn't call. She doesn't look back. One morning, she walks off and doesn't return. So you leave too. You don't have a plan. You just walk. Past the old den, through dry brush, away from every scent that meant safety. By nightfall, you've crossed into another clan's land. They see you right away, but no one attacks. Not yet. You keep your head low and your ears tucked. You show your belly to cubs half your size. Because it doesn't matter who you were before. Here, you're nothing. You follow behind the others at a distance, never too close. You don't eat first or second or at all most days. You wait for scraps, and sometimes you get lucky and they let you have them, but most of the time they don't. At night, they sleep together in a tangled pile. You find a patch of dirt away from the group and curl up alone. The other males are older and higher up in the hierarchy. They've been here longer than you, and that's all that matters. They feed before you, mate before you, and even get groomed before you. You're not even part of the group yet. You're just a shadow following behind. One day, you find a stripped bone by the edge of camp. You drop beside it, ready to chew what's left when a younger female walks up. She stares at it, and you hesitate. Then you let out a soft, uncertain growl, but she lunges before you even finish the sound. Her teeth slice your face, and she throws you down. You don't fight. You just wait for it to be over. When she finally leaves, you don't move right away. You stand still, watching her walk back to the group. This is how your new, miserable life starts. 1 year later, you're still at the bottom, but you've learned how to survive. One morning, the group moves. 2 females in front with another male beside them. You follow behind like always, not expecting anything. But then something runs. It's a rabbit moving fast through the grass. The females start chasing it. You run too, not because you think you'll catch it, but because your legs move before you think. The hare darts right, then left, and the others veer off to cut it off. You cut through the middle, crashing through the bushes and come out ahead. The rabbit is already turning when your jaws close around its spine. You bite down hard. It kicks once, then goes still. You hold it down until the others arrive. Then you back off without a sound and let them take it. That's the rule, but they all saw what happened. Later that night, while the group settles down, one of the females comes near you. Not close enough to touch, but close enough that you know it's not an accident. The next few nights, you keep near her. She doesn't growl and doesn't chase you off, so you groom her when she stops walking. Then one morning, she slows down. She moves her body and lifts her tail. You drop your head, ease to the side, and mount gently from behind. A few minutes later, it's done. She walks away without looking back, and you don't follow. No one says anything, and no one moves you up the hierarchy. You don't think about her again, and you won't care about your offspring, even if they survive. That's not your role. The female won't let you near them when they're born. She'll raise them without you, protect them without you, and if they ask who their father was, she won't know either. Because she'll do this again with every male in the group. The more she mates, the better her odds. That's just how it works, and you don't take it personally. Skip forward a bit, and you're 5 years old now. Over the past few months, you've been introduced to stealing food from lions. It's how you've managed to survive this long without hunting every night. Lions do the hard work, and you just show up after. It usually happens near water. You smell blood in the air, follow the trail, and find a half-eaten carcass with a lioness still chewing on it. If you come alone, she chases you off, but if there's 5 or 6 of you, she leaves. She snarls, swings a paw, maybe snaps once, but she knows she's outnumbered. Sometimes you catch her just as she's finishing the kill. Other times, you come for the scraps. It doesn't matter what it is. If it fills your gut, it's worth it. But today, you get overconfident. You smell the kill before you see it. It's fresh. The air is thick with the scent. You're with 4 others, not many but enough to cause some trouble. You move in together slowly like you always do. You expect another lioness, maybe a few cubs nearby. But you're wrong. This time it's a full-grown male. Old and big with his mane soaked in blood. He's crouched beside the kill, a wildebeest torn open at the gut. One of your group gives a whoop sound. That's the signal. You spread out, one flanks right, another moves to the rear. The lion still doesn't move. You think he's tired or maybe injured. Then one of the younger males lunges in, and the lion explodes. One paw swings wide and hits the hyena straight across the skull. You hear the crunch from where you're standing. The body drops and doesn't move again. You don't wait. You run. You hear heavy steps behind you closing in fast. The ground shakes with each stride. You know he's chasing you. Then it happens, a loud scream coming from behind. You glance back and spot one of the females down. She tripped, and the lion is already on her. His front paw is pinning her spine. He bites into the back of her neck and she goes limp almost instantly. Her legs twitch once, then stop moving. He doesn't chase anyone else. That's what saved you. You keep running until your breath gives out and your legs can't hold your weight. When you finally return to the group, they don't look at you. The kill is gone and so are 2 of the others. That night you go hungry, but you're alive, and that's enough. A few months later, all the females start moving toward a noise in the distance. You follow them because they forced you to. You don't know what it is at first. Then you see the other clan. They're spread out across the hill standing tall. This isn't a hunt, it's a fight for territory. One of the females gives a long whooping call and that's all it takes. The 2 sides charge. You hit a male head on and both of you go down. You sink your teeth into his shoulder while he snaps at your neck. You twist and bite again. Then something rips behind you. You turn and pain explodes down your back. A female from the other side has you by the tail. You scream and kick, but she's already ripping backward. One sharp tug and half your tail tears off. You spin to attack, but she's already gone. You stumble away, bleeding and half blind when another hyena charges at you. This one's young. You bluff a snap and he backs off. You don't chase it because you're not here to win. You're here to survive. All around you, the ground is chaos. Dust, claws, blood. Your ears ring. Then a body slams into your side and you hit the dirt again. This time it's one of yours. She limps off, trailing blood from her thigh. Everyone is covered in wounds. That's when you see her, your leader. She's pushing through the fighting, eyes locked on one target, the rival leader. They circle each other in silence and clash shortly after. Both bite and miss. Then your leader ducks low, feints left, and rams her shoulder under the rival's chest. The other stumbles. That's all she needs. She lunges and clamps down hard on the neck. You hear the crunch. The rival matriarch's legs kick once, then stop moving. The males on their side run first. You see them peel off in every direction. The others follow. Even the females that are still standing make a run for it. You don't chase anyone though. You just breathe. Some hyenas from your group drag others by the scruff. Some don't get up at all. But the line holds, and you've proven that the ground belongs to you. Skip forward, and you're 6.5 years old now. That's old for a hyena. Most of the ones you grew up with are already gone, but somehow, you're still here. You wake with the rest of the group, but no one greets you. They walk past like you're not there, so you leave early. You walk to the waterhole alone. The heat rises off the ground. Your joints ache more than they used to, but the path is familiar. There's no rival scent nearby, so you lower your head and drink. The water is still and cold. It's tasted the same your entire life, but then, something moves. A wall of muscle explodes from beneath. Jaws clamp your chest and pull you under before you can even gasp. You don't scream. You just disappear into the mud. The ripples fade, the blood spreads, and the others drink beside it like nothing happened. That was the hyena. Finally, the scavenger that thrives on failure, the coyote. You're born in a hole in the ground that your mom and dad dug out together. They did a solid job, hidden, sheltered, and far away from anything that might want to eat you. You're part of a litter of 4 pups, all equally blind, deaf, and frankly, not very useful. For the first 2 weeks, your mom is your entire world. She looks after you, cleans you, and guards you while your dad hunts and patrols the area. This all happens while you just sleep and eat all day. The only action is the occasional fight with your siblings when someone takes the best spot at feeding time. But let's look at the positives here. You're growing fast, and soon enough, things will start to get interesting. At 3 weeks old, Mom decides it's time for you to see the world. She nudges you out of the den, and you walk forward, your legs barely cooperating. Your siblings tumble after you, all of you tripping over each other in the process. Mom keeps a sharp eye on you, staying just close enough to bark softly whenever someone strays too far. One sibling ignores her and tries to wander off. Mom steps in, picks them up by the scruff, and drops them back with the rest of you. You all explore, sniffing everything in sight. One sibling pounces on a leaf. Another accidentally flips onto their back trying to scratch an itch. Then you find a bug. It twitches, and that's it. Game on. Everyone takes turns chasing it, swatting it, and eventually tasting it. It did not taste that good. After a while, Mom nudges you all back toward the den. Someone resists, and she gives them a stern shove. Back inside, you collapse, too tired to do anything else. At 6 weeks old, the milk bar is officially closed. Mom and Dad start bringing back real food to the den. One day it's a mouse, the next it's a bird, and occasionally a chunk of something bigger they've caught. They drop it in front of you, but let's be honest, you and your siblings have no idea what to do with it. You sniff it cautiously. One sibling pokes it with a paw, another tries to bite it, only to spit it back out immediately. Eventually, someone figures out which end is edible, and chaos erupts as everyone dives in at once. Sometimes, Mom tears the food into smaller pieces, making it easier to eat. Other times, she doesn't bother, leaving you to work it out yourselves. This is your first lesson in survival. Food doesn't come easy, and if you want your share, you'd better act fast. By the end of the week, you've stopped treating food like it's a puzzle and started devouring it as soon as it hits the ground. At 3 months old, it's time for your first hunting trip. Mom and Dad lead the way, and you and your siblings follow close behind. You're not here to hunt yet, you're here to watch and learn. When you reach the hunting grounds, Mom signals for you to stop. You watch as she focuses on a squirrel that's sitting at the base of a tree. Your dad circles around, moving quietly through the grass. You're frozen in place as he walks closer, every step perfectly calculated. Then in a flash, he jumps at the squirrel. The squirrel bolts for the tree, but Dad is faster, pinning it to the ground just before it escapes. Mom signals you and your siblings to come closer. You cautiously approach the catch, sniffing it and nudging it with your nose. It's the first time you've been this close to live prey, and it's both exciting and overwhelming. Mom doesn't let you eat yet. Instead, she demonstrates how to handle it. She grips the squirrel in her jaws and shakes it, just to make sure that it's completely still. Then she begins to break it apart, showing you the most efficient way to get to the good bits. You watch closely, taking mental notes. But the real test comes next. Mom spots another squirrel further away and leads you to a better position. This time she drops back and lets you and your siblings try. You crouch low, trying your best to stay quiet. When your sibling that's behind you accidentally makes a sound, the squirrel bolts up the tree before anyone even gets close. Mom doesn't look impressed, but she doesn't give up on you either. She leads you to a different spot. By the end of the day, you're exhausted. You didn't catch anything, but you're starting to understand how it's done. For now, you're just the apprentice, but one day, you'll be the one leading the hunt. That's if you survive. At 6 months old, life with the family starts to feel different. The food Mom and Dad bring back doesn't seem to stretch as far as it used to. You've been going to sleep hungry more often than not, and the fights with your siblings over scraps are getting more intense. Mom and Dad seem tense too. They've started snapping at you when you get too close during mealtime. It's not personal, it's just survival. The area around the den isn't exactly brimming with food anymore, and with so many mouths to feed, the strain is showing. One day, after another night of feeling like your stomach is eating itself, you realize what needs to happen. You've outgrown the den, the pack, and this patch of land. It's time to leave. You don't make a big deal out of it. One morning, you just start walking. You head away from the den, following trails you've never taken before. The first few days on your own are rough. You've got no backup now, and hunting solo is a whole different challenge. You miss more prey than you catch, and the hunger that drove you to leave your family hasn't gone away. It's just you now. No mom to bring food, no siblings to fight for scraps. Still, you keep moving. You've learned enough to know that staying in one place won't help. You follow the wind, sniffing out new trails and new opportunities. Sometimes you find something like a field mouse or a discarded sandwich, but that's not quite enough. A few weeks into your solo life, you're starting to get the hang of hunting. You've managed to catch a few squirrels and even snagged a vole. But the effort it takes compared to the reward isn't exactly a winning formula. Then one day, you stumble across an unlikely ally, a badger. You're following the scent of something small and edible when you see it. You freeze, watching it closely. Normally, you'd steer clear because badgers aren't exactly known for their charm, and they've got sharp claws to back up their temper. But this one doesn't seem interested in you. You notice something interesting. As the badger digs the ground, small animals run out of nearby holes trying to escape. That's when everything clicks. The badger's doing all the hard work, and you could be the one to reap the benefits. You cautiously get closer to the badger. At first, it doesn't seem thrilled to see you. It looks your way, snorts, and goes back to digging. You hang back, watching from a safe distance. Then, as a ground squirrel bolts out of the hole, you pounce. Your timing is perfect. You've got it. The badger looks at you again, this time with less annoyance and more acceptance. It doesn't chase you off, and you take that as permission to stick around. Over the next few hours, you and your new digging buddy work as a team. The badger digs, and you stay alert, ready to catch anything that tries to flee. It's a surprisingly effective partnership. Badgers are experts at fleshing out burrowing prey, and you're fast enough to catch whatever escapes. By the end of the day, you've had your fill for the first time in what feels like forever. By the time winter comes, you're ready to find a partner. Coyotes pair up for life, so this isn't just about finding someone to hang out with. It's about survival. You howl, and for a while there's nothing. Just the wind and the sound of your own paws crunching in the snow. Then finally, a reply. It's very far away, but it's enough to spark hope. You follow the sound, running through the bushes until you find her. She's wary at first, circling you and keeping her distance. You do the same, sniffing the air and keeping your posture low, trying to show that you're not a threat. The first meeting is brief. She watches you for a moment longer, before turning and running back into the shadows. You don't follow her. This isn't something that happens overnight. Over the next few days, you keep crossing paths. One day, she lets you get close enough to share a meal, tearing apart the scraps of a deer carcass together. After that, the partnership starts to take shape. You hunt near each other and move together everywhere you go. One evening, after a long day of patrolling and hunting, you lie down together in a patch of grass. Then, unnoticed by you, something small crawls onto your fur. A tick. It finds a spot on your leg, latches on, and takes its fill. You don't feel a thing. Not yet, anyway. After some time, a patch of fur on your back begins to thin. At first, you don't think much of it. You've scratched before. Ticks, fleas, but this is different. Over the weeks, the itch gets worse. You lose more fur. Your skin starts to show through, red and irritated. The cold nights hit harder now, and every hunt feels just a little more exhausting. You've got mange. It doesn't kill you outright, but it weakens you. You're slower, hungrier, and more vulnerable. Still, you keep going because you have to. Your partner sticks by your side, though even she seems to give you a little extra space now and then. You don't blame her. One day, you're out hunting together. It's been a tough winter, and food is scarce. You spot a deer far in the distance, and instinct kicks in. You crouch and move quietly. Your partner circles around, her movements as sharp and practiced as ever. Just as you get closer, a loud crack echoes through the air. She drops instantly, crumpling into the snow. You freeze and look toward the source of the noise. A human with a rifle. You don't think, you run. Your paws slip on the snow as you bolt into the trees, the sound of your breath drowning out everything else. You don't stop running, not until you're far away, too far to smell her scent or hear another shot. Your mind is racing. She's gone. Just like that. In your panic, you don't notice the road ahead. A flash of headlights, a screech of tires, then nothing. Coyotes rarely live long lives in the wild. For most, death comes in 3 ways. The most common? Cars. Roads carve through their territories, and even the sharpest instincts can't always save them from speeding headlights. The second? Humans with guns. Coyotes are hunted and trapped across the country, often seen as pests rather than survivors. And finally, disease. Mange, rabies, and other illnesses weaken even the toughest coyotes, making survival harder with every passing day. You were no exception. You lived fast, fought hard, and adapted to every challenge. But in the end, the odds caught up to you. Life as a carnivore might be rough, but there's another animal out there that has it way worse. Trust me, it's wild. Check out the video and see for yourself.